What's up, guys? Um, for this video, I just wanted to kind of go in about what's better, traditional way, which is like buying brand new products from Walmart, Target, or any big retail store that you can think of, buying new products from them, and then getting it shipped to you or a prep center, labeling it, sending it to Amazon, and selling it for a profit. Versus online arbitrage with just like books or media, I should say, like DVDs, CDs, and stuff like that. There's there's a lot of pros and cons to both. Um, I feel like traditional online arbitrage is a good stepping stone to get to like wholesale and stuff. Because you're buying, you know, a lot of the same product. You're buying hundreds of one product, and that is easier to handle on like the back end stuff. When you compare it to like book online arbitrage, you're not really going that deep on a single book. Most of the books that sell that well, you're not really going to be able to capitalize on them because the stores are still selling them. So it'd be a lot harder to find them at, good deals and stuff. I'm sure there's just ways to wholesale and stuff where you can buy in that, deep. Um, but it's not something that it is usual. Usually book online arbitrage, you're buying used books. You're going on eBay or even Amazon, finding, Goodwill or HPB, those big conglomerate companies selling books at dirt cheap because they're probably getting them for free and just putting it on there to get it out of their store or something, and will sell it at, ridiculously low prices, and then you can buy it and then flip it for, shoot, sometimes 2, 3, 4 times as much money. Um, so whenever in that case, you're gonna be kind of with books, you're getting a huge margin compared to with online or traditional online arbitrage. You're kind of going for razor thin margins. You're barely getting 25% on your return, and that's rough. That's tough, because if it goes down even a little bit, you might be losing money. Um, so that's what I kind of wanted to get into is the differences. I did a year, my very first year on Amazon. I did like a cherry picking with books, and then I moved from that to online arbitrage, traditional online arbitrage for a year. Did that for a year, and then I switched over to the book online arbitrage, or I guess media. I do DVDs and CDs and stuff, and I've switched over to that, and I've been doing that for about 9 months now. Um, so I've kinda gotten a range of the arbitrage type of stuff to do that you can do and whatnot, and, I've gotten enough experience to kind of see the differences in both of them. Um, Full transparency, I couldn't make online arbitrage work. I struggled to find the products, and, I guess for me, it was the competition was so stiff, and every time I would find a product, it seemed like, you know, everyone would jump on it, and that I would be stuck with a product that, at the time when I bought it was a beautiful product, but then everybody else got a hold of it. So with traditional online arbitrage, you kind of want to find those deals that no one else can find, and that's a difficult thing to do. Um, from my opinion, you kind of need like a team of people searching for everything. You know what I'm saying? You kind of need a group of friends that are you're all like looking at the sites, you're all kind of going in and, grinding it out together. And then you can kind of make it work because you got so many eyes on so many different things, and you can hop on stuff and buy it out so no one else can get it. And then it's just you and your buddies, that have that product. But that's the biggest difference, I think, between traditional OA and media OA is competition. So your your competition is going to find those deals with traditional OA really fast, but with book OA, there's so many books. There's millions and millions and millions of books out there. And you can find one book and it'll be, worth it that one day that you find it. You buy it, say under $10, and then it's selling for like $40. So you're making, 100% ROI or more. Um, and once you buy it, the next day it's not going to be there. You can't just sit there and buy one book over and over and over and over and over and it'll work out. It's just not gonna work that way. If it did, you would have competition finding it. You know what I'm saying? That's where traditional way kind of in my opinion suffers is because the competition's so high. You're not you're finding a product and whenever in at the time that you're looking at it, at the time that you purchased it, it's good, but then it takes you, a week to get to you. You label it, then it takes a week to get checked in, maybe 2 weeks sometimes. And then once it's, a month later, it's checked in and you're good to go. Everyone else is checked in and good to go too. Um, so that was the biggest issue I found was so much competition with the traditional OA. Um, and like I said, with the razor thin margins, it's not, it's not good. Even having one or two people hop on, you're reducing your margins, and then everybody reduce everybody's repricers trying to fight for the bottom price, and then you're tanking your price. So in in that aspect with competition, book online arbitrage is superior. There's not very much competition going after one book. You can find that book, you can track it, and then you can, buy that book every time it gets to a certain price. And, there will be other people tracking books and stuff, and then you will have to rush to get it and whatnot and all that. But it's not the price isn't gonna tank like it does in online arbitrage. Now, the online arbitrage, it's superior in, like, the back end, organization, in my opinion, because it's if you buy 100 different books, you know, all of them are very profitable and everything, but you have to have a line for each one of those books to keep track of. And that's tedious and it gets annoying, especially whenever you got to go back and then you got to be like, oh, did this book come in? Did I sell this book? What price did I sell this book at? You got to put in all that information for each and every single book that you purchase. Which on the flip side, with traditional OA, you buy 100 of one product, you don't need all those lines. You have one buy cost that you bought all those 100 for, and so all you need to do is keep track of how many you sell at what price, and then you put that in, and that's all you need to keep track of, and it's really, really simple. With all your repricers, it's super simple because you just have one product that has 100 of them, and you just put in your minimum maximum of what you want that one product to be, and you're good to go. So the back end stuff, traditional OA is superior by far. It's a lot less tedious work when it comes to that. So there's give and take in everything. You're not nothing is completely perfect, and it shouldn't be. But those are the two big things that I think are like um, differentiating the biggest things that are going to differentiate the two from each other. And you know, you kinda have to, weigh out your options and see what you wanna do. For me, I feel like, yeah, I was struggling the most with OA because my capital. I don't I just don't think that if you don't have thousands of dollars to put in solely to your inventory, not like your tools, not like, the business setup or product or not products, sorry, what is that? Supplies and stuff. Like if you have, only $1,000 to put into product, I don't think it's enough. I'm not super experienced in this. Like, I don't wanna say that, this is the way or anything, but I do think that you need close to 10 grand just to get things started, and then after that 10 grand spent, you need, to things to keep rolling. Because FBA, if we're being real, if you get a product that sells within the month, that's awesome, but you're still not gonna get paid for that for another month. So, if you buy a product, you can't expect to get that money back, the money you put into that product, you can't expect to get that money back for 2 months almost. It's a little ridiculous sometimes, and, you have to plan for that type of thing. Otherwise, you're gonna spend that 10 grand, and if you did the right thing and you bought the right products, you'll sell it all, and then that 10 grand that you spent, and then hopefully if you got a return is gonna be sitting there in Amazon for another month. S So, you see what I'm saying? Yes, you can start with any income. You can go and buy 100 things that it costs like a dollar each, and it's only, 100 some dollars. You can start like that, but man, it's a grind and grind to get it going. But on the flip side with books, when media, if you have $100 and you spent $100 on say 10 books that cost $10, like, you can double your money, sometimes triple, sometimes quadruple, sometimes, more, and you can take that $100 and within that 2 months, like, you can have, 200, 300, 400, $500 back, sometimes more, if you buy the right books, of course. So you double your money faster, but with, like, traditional OA, if you get a 25% return and you spent, we'll say $100 and you got 25% return, that's, you're getting 125 back in 2 months. Like, you see the difference there? It's a little bit, misleading to say, like, "Yeah, you can start with whatever," you know? What really what you need is, a constant, return. You need to, start with what you got, but also, like, hopefully you have another income coming in to where you can, like, spend $100 this week, spend $100 next week, spend $100 the week after that. You don't wanna spend all of your capital at once because then, you're kinda screwed for a while. But that's where people kinda get confused. That was where I was confused when I first started. It was I got something sold for $100 and it was super exciting. I was like, "Oh, heck yeah." But then I was like, "Oh, crap, I need to buy it again. I need to find a way to get it again." So that, like, with traditional OA, like, you can do that and it is easy to do that. But once, the rest of the internet figures out, like, this is where you're buying it, um, you no longer have that, and then you have to go find something else, you know. But with books and stuff, it's more like you track that book, and then you find another book, you track that book, and then eventually you have this huge list of books that you're tracking, and then you can just kind of, get alerts and hop on stuff, and that's kind of how you can kind of build something. But it's not like a, you know you can't just spend $10,000 and then be, "I'm done." You gotta continuously spend money, that way it builds, and with books, it builds a lot faster. With media, it builds a lot faster because you're 100% in your ROI. How fast can you double your money? And with books, it's quick. With, uh, traditional OA, it's a really slow grind to get to double your money. That's really what I feel like you need to not you, everybody kinda wants to look at it as, "How fast can I double my money?" Um, and with traditional OA, it's slow. You're gonna double your money eventually, but you're gonna have to, with a 25% return, you gotta do it 4 times. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you buy a product and it sells out this month, you got 25% back, you gotta do that 3 more months, and then you've doubled your money. But with books, I mean, you can make it, like, super strict, and you can only get, um, only 100% ROI, which, can be done, but, you're limiting yourself a little bit. But you can double your money, the first few books that you buy, and that is just, it's hard to beat that. And people definitely look kinda down on booksellers, and I think it's more of, a pride thing more than anything because, nobody wants to go to Goodwill and be the person who's scanning the books, and finding the books like that, and, it is kind of, yeah, a little bit embarrassing when you first do it, but eventually after you do it a few times, you realize nobody really cares what you're doing. They don't, they're not looking at you like, "Oh, peasant," no one's really doing that. Somebody might ask you like, "What are you doing?" But past that, no one really cares. But I the traditional OA just it looks cooler, like, "Oh, I'm got, 100 pairs of Nike Air Jordan 1s," I don't know shoes, but but, it looks cooler. It's cooler to tell my friends that, like, "Yeah, I'm selling brand new Nintendo," but really that's the stuff that looks cool but doesn't really bring you back, huge returns. But the dusty old book that's been sitting on your shelf, for years, that book could be worth $100 and you could find that book for $2 at a Goodwill, and that's massive returns whenever you can do that. Um, so, there's nuances and there's differences in both. I personally like the book Online Arbitrage a lot more. It's just so much easier. There's a lot less risk in buying a book for $10, you know, than compared to, buying, 100 things for $1,000. It's just, you got to kind of mitigate your risk and stuff with that. But it's just tough to say whenever you kind of compare them both head to head. Like, there's not one is not better than the other. It just kind of depends on what your risk tolerance is, two, what your capital is, and three, really your knowledge on it. If you have huge, extensive knowledge on, how to buy products in wholesale, you know, eh, online arbitrage might be the way you start. I did not, and I probably will not go back to traditional online arbitrage because my my business how it is now is doing tremendously better than whenever I did the year of online arbitrage. When I did that year of online arbitrage, the main thing that built was my debt. I maxed out 3 different credit cards, all had 0% APR, so I paid them all off before I had to pay any interest on them. But, like, that's the main thing that grew whenever I was doing the online arbitrage. And, I could have just been buying the wrong products, which with some of them, I know I did buy the wrong products. But there was some of them that I think were heavy hitters and were good products, but they just didn't bring back the returns like I wanted. They didn't, and, I'd also think that that's also got a lot to do with, you know, the amount of inventory you have too. Like like I said, if you have, $1,000, I don't think it's enough to do online arbitrage. Now I know that there's people out there have done it, and I'm not trying to, say that there's no way you can do it, but I am saying that it's a lot harder to do that. I was inspired to do this video because Raking Profits did a video on this and how, that there are, nuances and struggles that, traditional online arbitrage people have, that, aren't talked about a whole lot. You can get on and you can listen to all the YouTube guys, and they'll tell you that it can be done and this and that, but, they're also talking about credit card debt and, going and pulling out loans and stuff, and, you know, it's just tough to do whenever you haven't, had that experience to how to handle debt and whatnot. If you are going to pull out credit card debt and if you are going to do some loans and stuff, learn from my mistake and don't, spend it on bettering the business. Because I bought like tools and stuff, thinking, oh, this, in a prep center and all this. And I was like, oh, I got money, But what you need to do is, take that loan or take that credit card debt that you're going to use and only buy inventory. only buy inventory. That way, whenever it comes back, you know, you can at least pay off what you have, at least pay off your debt that you have. Um, as otherwise, if you spend that money on, tools or prep centers or stuff like that, you're not gonna be able to pay it off because you're not having that money transferred into a product and that product bringing you money back. You get what I'm saying? So it's just, things you have to think about with that. Learn how to do, loans, period. Because it is difficult at the beginning. But that's about it, guys. I just wanted to get on here and talk about the differences between those two. No, one's not better than the other. Like I said, it's just kind of what you prefer and whatnot. There's more work in both in different ways. It's just choose your heart, pretty much, right? But that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Later.